down. So, defending, I would say Gloucestershire would have to get a score on the board that would be in excess of 150 to be very comfortable.
160, 170, I think, would be about par here on this Sunday afternoon. There's a third man and that square leg, the two out as the second over is bowled.
Robinson bowling to Klinger. Klinger drops and runs into the cover area, so he will pick up a single, 3 without loss. And Robinson also does get the ball to swing, and he's also quite a tall man, so he can hit the pitch as well as get the ball swinging about a bit. But he's not played so much T20 cricket in his career, but his career is on the rise at the moment, having been with the England Lions. As here comes Robinson bowling to Hammond, and there's a swing on offer, but Hammond has done very well there. He's got it up and over extra cover, and it's away for the first boundary for Gloucestershire.
Well, I think he just took it on, didn't he? It was an inside-out shot over the offside. The offside is well populated, but he can only have 2 outside. It's a deep square leg on the third man, so that was a good shot from him. And I thought it was meant.
Yes, I think it was. He dealt with the swing very well. I thought that it was going to beat his outside edge when he shaped up for the shot, but
and they thought the third man in there got a sweep on the cover boundary.
Here comes Robinson over the wicket to the left-handed Hammond, and that's gone high up in the air. It's a man running back. Is it going to fall in between them? Is it over his shoulder? Takes the catch. And Sussex have their first wicket. Phil Salt running backwards from mid-wicket. Just a skyer from Hammond. And, well, he did very well there, did Salt, because he just about didn't have time to turn around. And he took a good catch over his shoulder. And that's the first breakthrough for Sussex. Robinson with a wicket back into the team, and Gloucestershire are 7 for 1.
Well, I mean, Hammond took it was a very, very ambitious shot. It's a great catch because he was in there such a long time. He had to turn, and he was racing, looking towards the leg side boundary, and he took it. Well, I mean, they should always take those skies, really, shouldn't they? But Hammond, disappointing, goes for 5, and it's 7 for 1.
The thing is, it was up a very, very long way, so you would expect him to catch it. It was just the fact that he had to twist and turn and couldn't take it facing the normal way. But, yeah, very nicely judged by Salt. But it wouldn't have looked good if he dropped it. But at the same time, it wasn't easy. It was one of those ones. So, James Bracey is the new man for Gloucestershire, coming in at 3 again. He'll be off strike because Michael Klinger crossed, and here comes Robinson, bowls to Klinger, and that's swinging down the leg side. That's a good stop by Carey. That was very nearly 5 wides. In the end, it's just the 1. Just started it too straight there, did Robinson. It looked like he was trying for the in-swinger to Michael Klinger, and he just pushed it too far to the leg side, and it was still swinging away from Carey as he dived away to try and stop it, and in the end knocked it down very well. Here comes Robinson, bowls to Klinger, and in-swinger again, and it's a good delivery. And all Klinger can do is push it away to the man at short cover, and there's no run.
What Sussex has done, you see, they normally have all the men on the edge of the circle. Now Luke Wright has come in, and they've got 2 or 3 who aren't on the edge of the circle, so they're stopping the 1 on the off and the onside.
Yeah, they can't drop and run as Robinson bowls. That's wide, cut away by Klinger. This might be a couple. No, it's not. It's very well fielded by Topley down there at third man, and because he's left-handed, throw away very quickly. So just the 1, Klinger to 3, 9 for 1. But yeah, like I say, both Salt, who was on the offside at short cover for Klinger, and Rashid Khan, both in very tight, both saving the single and also providing potentially a catching opportunity if the ball just stops a little in the wicket. But so far, it's been very tight lines and lengths from Sussex, and they've got the ball to move about. Here comes Robinson, bowls to the left-handed Bracey. It's a full, slower delivery, looked like there from Robinson, and Bracey just drives it straight to Rashid Khan at short cover, and that's the end of the over. So a great start for Sussex, 9 for 1, Gloucestershire after 2 overs.
Yeah, good start for the away side. I mean, Hammond will be cursing himself. I mean, he had a lovely little 4 over the offside, and I think, in fact, looking back, he tried to play on the offside. He completely got it wrong. It went up on the leg side. He was up there for about 10 seconds it was, but it meant the field had time to adjust himself. Here is Topley coming to bowl to Klinger, who's on 3, 9 for 1. And that's a lovely... Oh, I thought he... Klinger moved his feet, tried the straight drive, got into position, but the ball just leapt up on him.
I thought he timed that better than he had off the back, because he looked like he got himself in a good position. He gave himself just enough room to free the arms to drive it down the ground. But, yeah, like you say, it just...
I thought he was going to go straight past the bowler.
Yeah, exactly, so did I.
But no run. Top is doing well at the moment for Sussex, and he bowls again. And that's better. That's a better shot from Klinger. Straight drive. That was what he was trying to do before 4 runs.
Yep, that's exactly the shot I thought he'd played to the previous ball. Great timing on that one, and that raced to the boundary in no time.
Well, we do need a big score here. I think you need someone to get a 70 on 80.
Well, that's the thing lately for Gloucestershire in a way. I mean, Higgins scored a 7 lower down the order, but the Gloucestershire are in need of somebody in the top 3 or 4 to get a big score.
Okay. Over the wicket now, and that's a very wide ball outside the off stump, and it is indeed given as a wide, quite rightly.
Just completely lost his radar all of a sudden there, Toppy, and I suppose that just shows you it wasn't a bad ball that Klinger hit for 4, but it was the same length that Topley had been trying to bowl throughout the first over to Klinger as well, and you just put him off that length, show him that you're willing to hit him straight down the ground off that length, and Topley felt he had to do something different and missed considerably.
Well, he comes in again, does the former Essex man, and Klinger drives into the covers and it's fielded no run. I mean, that's indicative of the field they had, because the fielder was in from the circle and it stopped the one. If it had been out, they could have gone for a cheeky single. No cheekiness there.
No, well, it's good captaincy, I think, to have those men in. All too often you see they can just... the batting side can just get the scoreboard moving with just a few singles, and then the boundaries come, and all of a sudden a big over starts from that.
Topley again bowls to Klinger, and he's caught. He's caught, and Klinger is caught. Well, it was a bumper, it was a bouncer. Klinger looks a bit disappointed by that, I have to say. It seemed to me he did get a touch on it.
It certainly touched something, because it looked like it deviated. But like you say, Klinger he just sort of stood there for it wasn't a sort of absolute disbelief, how could you have given me out, but at the same time it wasn't a kind of convinced sort of, maybe he was just looking back down at the pitch wondering why it bounced so much. But
I have to say, I thought he got a touch to it. Julian Clark, did you? Yeah, I got a touch to it. And Topley found him out with a bouncer, so they're in trouble now. 14 for 2. Bracey and Cobain, both batsmen on naught. And Klinger has not a good start in this T20 campaign. I have to say, he's gone for 7. Getting a lovely straight drive. Now, Cobain is an anathema, isn't he, really? He can either be brilliant, he's got hundreds in the T20, or a slow starter.
Yep, he has taken a while to get going last couple of games, hasn't he? And he's not going to find it easy coming in against what has been a very tight Sussex opening spell.
Yeah, he's facing now, Cobain, and that's a good shot for first ball. Lazily played, almost laconically played by Cobain, outside the off stump 4. That's better, 18 for 2.
Well, that is exactly not where to bowl to Ian Cobain, really. He's just given him a lot of width, and he's given him, well, it was fairly short as well, even though it was more of a back foot punch from Cobain rather than a cut shot, but it just wasn't the right line or length from Topley there. Nonetheless, 1.5 overs, 1 for 11 so far. It's been a good start.
He's going over the wicket now. And think about a short, sharp single, but that would have been foolishly done. End of the third over, 18 for 2. So, disappointing for runs and for wickets, really. They can't, I always say in the power play, I'm sure you do as well, Ed, if you lose 2 or more wickets in the power play, it's an uphill struggle, isn't it?
Particularly if you lose 3. I mean, yeah, 3 wickets and fewer than 36, and you're probably looking at, well, single-figure percentage chance of winning the match, I would say. So, from
halfway
point
now.
of view, they need some quicker runs. So Robinson to bowl, and he'll deliver to Bracey now, and Bracey tries to force that one away to the offside, but it's straight to Danny Briggs at backward point, and there's no run. So Robinson into his second over. No bowling changes so far. I mean, I think that's a good decision. Obviously, you're still getting the ball swinging. Why change it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And very often you'll see a side just kind of change it for the sake of it. But Sussex.
Right, thinking everything's going well.
Exactly. No need to change anything up. Here comes Robinson and bowls, and that's worked away fine by Bracey, but he's not going to beat Topley at short, fine leg, and they just pick up a singler shy at the stumps from Topley, but comfortably through to the other end. Cobain, 19 for 2.
Good captaincy from Luke, right? He brought Topley up to that the edge of the circle. Now Topley's going back to Cobain the right hand down to third man, and again, only one run on offer.
Actually bringing third man, they decided they were going to send him back. Third man's coming up for Cobain, and they're going to have a man out at deep cover as Robinson up to the wicket and bowls to Cobain. Nice full straight delivery, and Cobain just pushes it back down the ground. No run. They have bowled it full of Sussex. I mean, so often you see that kind of full length going in the power play, but it just shows you've just got to be intelligent about what the ball's doing out there. If there's some swing on offer, then you do bowl full, but if there isn't, then that's basically what then turns out to be the slot in this format. Robinson bowling to Cobain. Cobain, he's guided it in the end down to third man. It's going to be 4, so a second boundary for Cobain. It just bounced a bit on it, but Cobain dropped his hands nicely on it and ran it away to that, what is quite a short boundary down to the flats there, and a second boundary for Cobain, 23 for 2, Gloucestershire.
Yeah. Now, the weather might play a part in this. It's okay now, but there is a threat of some rain coming up from the west. We shall hope it misses us here at the county ground.
Robinson, right arm over the wicket bowls, and it's a straight delivery again, just defended to that man at short cover, and again, that's another example of where if the fielder is back, they would have been able to sneak a quick single there. So, still bowling tightly is Robinson, and yeah, it has just clouded over a little bit since we started, but at the moment it looks
it's fine.
Pretty hopeful. Live T20 Blast here on BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Sussex, as here comes Robinson and bowls to Cobain, whips that one into the leg side. There's 2 men out on the leg side now for Cobain, and so they've got that plenty covered as Rashid Khan fields it at deep mid-wicket, and another single, so Cobain's 9. 24 for 2, end of over number 4, so still just going along at bang on a run a ball here, Gloucestershire, but no more. However, Cobain is timing the ball pretty well since he's come out there, so looking a little more dangerous, and Sussex are now, I suppose unsurprisingly, because Topley you would think would bowl at the death as well, they're going to make their first bowling change. It will be Chris Jordan from the...
Well, he's no slouch, is he? Reminder, if you want the football, Bristol City v Leeds on FM and Freeview channel 719 on BBC Radio Bristol, if you fancy your football and not your cricket. As here's Jordan, comes in to bowl to Bracey. Cobain, I beg your pardon, and he goes for a short shot single. The ball is thrown at the stumps and it misses, but he would have got home anyway with Cobain. 25 for 2.
Yeah, it was a good call there, and Luke Wright, the fielder at mid-off, did all he could. Just the first single that I would say Gloucestershire have really kind of nicked off Sussex that way.
Well, I always say there are singles on offer. However, if you don't want to gamble your life away in the first power play, do you? You don't want to take on too many risks.
Well, the first power play should really be about hitting boundaries.
Yeah, should be. Yeah. How many have we got? 2 boundaries, Julian? 3? 3 boundaries? 4. Jordan bowls to Cobain, and that's up in the air, and he's dropped it. He's dropped it. That was a simple catch, actually. I have to say, I'm not quite sure the fielder is out there. Rashid Khan, yes. Well, it wasn't. Well, I got to say that was a drop. That was a straightforward chance. He had to move a little bit to his back, and he caught it, and then he just dropped it. Well, that was inexplicable, really.
He was moving to his wrong side, but at the same time, that ball was not travelling at all. It just looped up off a leading edge, and it should have been taken comfortably.
The excuse would be it was spinning, he would say. As he bowls to Brace Jordan, that's whacked away to the fielder on the leg side boundary, only 1 run.
Yeah, can't push the fielder there, but I would say, I watched Gloucestershire's game against Glamorgan. I don't know if you felt the same, but I felt as though they maybe could have pushed the field a little bit more for us.
Correct.
Twos.
Yeah, they could have done. I thought they were a bit stubborn, if you like, on that. They got a point, away waypoint, a tie. Tied it. Cobain is facing, he's on 11, 27 for 2 in the 5th over, and Cobain just waits and turns it away behind square. It's a good little shot from Cobain. It's not going to reach the boundary, but they make it for 2. The throw comes in.
Yeah, good gap found there by Bracey. They've got short fine.
Cobain it was. Bracey
got a couple, yeah.
Sorry, Bracey's 25, of course he is. And he's a left-hander. Apart from that, I got it right, didn't I? Perfect, yeah.
Nailed it, as they say.
Jordan to Bracey. Bracey on 4 now, 29 for 2. There's some people watching from the flats having their Sunday lunch. Jordan comes in and bowls to Bracey again. And Bracey just, again, an example of exactly why they can't take a single, because Luke Wright has come in and stopped it. Simple as that. Easy.
And the thing is, they can keep them there because Sussex have bowled so tight to the stumps.
Yeah.
If you start bowling wide, then you've got to put him back on the circle because he's more of a boundary saver. Here, he can afford to be a single saver because Sussex have bowled right at the stumps and not over-pitched or bowled too short either.
29 for 2, Gloucestershire. Oh, that's up in the air. That's going to be a 6, I'm sure. Is it going to be a 6 or out? It's a 4. It was in the air a long time, and it plugged from where I'm sitting about a foot in front of that boundary. So, a great shot from Bracey. I've never seen him play that before. 33 for 2. He's normally a very stickler, isn't he, James Bracey? But he got on with it then, and it's 33 for 2. So, the 6th over coming up, and they should get around 40, which is, it's not good, but it's better than bad.
Yeah, I mean, Sussex deserves credit for the way that they've bowled, but also, if they've assessed conditions out there and decided that the pitch is not coming on to the bat as well as it could, then also just being, 40 for 2 rather than trying to risk being 50 for 3 or 4
Absolutely.
is the better thing to be and have wickets in hand later on, because Gloucestershire's middle order has been very good the last couple of games. So Robinson will bowl a 3rd over, and he's in now to Cobain, and flicks this one hard through mid-wicket. There's going to be no stopping that. That's away for 4. So Cobain with another boundary, and the timing again from Cobain. He didn't really bother to keep it down too much because there's nobody really anywhere near that. There's nobody between Rashid Khan, who's a very straight mid-wicket and deep square leg, and although Delray Rawlins is very quick out there on the ropes, he's not stopping that.
No, he isn't. It's good to see all the crowd on that right-hand side, the open stand, have their 4s and 6s. They were waving in the air then to celebrate that boundary.
So Robinson, how does he come back? Bowls to Cobain. It's on the pads, and they're going to come through for a leg bye. That's a good call from Bracey there, because he was running to what would have been the danger end, and Cobain just hesitated a little bit, but it didn't matter because he wasn't the man that was under pressure there. So a good call from Bracey for a leg bye, and Sussex will get Bracey back on strike. 38 for 2 are Gloucestershire, so they've already guaranteed at least to be better than that run a ball figure, which is always very important in the power play minimum. Here is Robinson, bowls to Bracey. Bracey flicks this one away fine. This is going to be at least 2. It's running away down to the backward square leg boundary. Is it going to make it? There's a good piece of relay fielding down there, and they've managed to limit it to 2. So a good effort. Topley was the man who got the throw back in off the relay, and so Bracey moves to double figures, 40 for 2.
Now he's pushing him back. Robinson, I'm going to look at this. I think that fielder at long leg is standing outside the circle.
He is at the moment. The point of delivery is where it matters, so we'll have to watch that. Robinson bowls round the wicket. That's short, clubbed away by Bracey, but he's hit it straight to the man at deep square leg, so it's only a single. And there's a big gap at mid-wicket there, and Bracey just couldn't find it, even though he timed it very nicely.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. We can use floodlights here today.
Ah, yes.
We can, and there's an hour leeway, so the game should finish at 5:15.
It could be very handy if it gets a little bit gloomy and a little shower
Lights
comes
can
along.
be used.
Hopefully it won't. as Robinson bowls. That's down the leg side, clipped away by Cobain. That's a poor ball from Robinson, really. It's one of the first times that Sussex have bowled really a boundary ball, and pretty much any batsman at this level is going to put that away to the backward square leg boundary for another 4. So Cobain, 4 boundaries now in his 19, and Gloucestershire 45 for 2.
Well, I think now this is a slightly better than average power play.
Yep, this over is changing things dramatically. It's how many off it so far, Julian? 12 off it, and there's still 2 balls to go. One to go. So last ball of the power play, they've got 2 men out on the leg side boundary now as Robinson bowls to Cobain. He bowls it short, right where you'd expect him to bowl it with 2 men out on the leg side. That's good thinking there from Sussex. Just limit them to the single, get out of the power play, and that's what they've done. So Cobain moves to 21 here on BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Sussex. Gloucestershire are 46 for 2 after the power play, and I'd say honours even to just about Gloucestershire in the end, that power play.
Well, apart from the wickets, of course, but Cobain and Bracey have settled in nicely, I think, and then they got the big hitters in the middle order to come. So I think these two should just consolidate a little bit, stay around for, well, they could stay the whole time, I wouldn't mind that, of course. And there's now, oh dear, look who's coming on. Oh dear, Rashid Khan. He bowls, I've never seen anything like it. He bowls fast leg breaks, doesn't it? That's his stock
ball. The closest I think I've ever seen to him is Shahid Afridi, but the thing with Afridi only really bowled top spinners, whereas Rashid Khan can get the ball to turn both ways, and his wrong one is like nothing I've ever seen before. It's the weirdest grip ever. I mean, if you ever get a chance to watch it on TV, I can't really describe it. I mean, I don't really know how he bowls it even, but...
Well, he's good, and he's got fielders all around the boundary. As he comes into bowl now to Cobain, and Cobain just plays it to long on, and there's a single.
The problem with facing Rashid Khan is he bowls so quickly that you cannot use your feet against him. Or at least you have to be lightning quick if you're going to use your feet against Rashid Khan. So he forces you to start with to play him from the crease, which as a spinner is a pretty handy weapon to have.
Yeah, slip in as well. It's Bracey facing, he's on 11, 47 for 2 in the 7th over. And a short, sharp single is taken. Oh, that's poor. And in fact, Rashid is not the best fielder, I would say. And the ball was thrown to his end. He put out a rather vague arm. And luckily, someone was backing up.
Yes, he escorted it out to Topley, who had been very alert, moved to a sort of mid-off position from his original long-off. So good work from Topley there.
Cobain faces, and dead bats that. Nothing to do with that. I mean, that's the problem with this. You just do not know what's going to come out of his arm, do you?
No, and if there's any turn on offer, he is a nightmare to face. It just needs it to turn a millimetre.
Well, that's a single taken as the fielder comes in from the cover boundary. I just think we've got to treat him with the utmost respect and don't try and hit him out the ground.
Yeah, well, you've got to pick your areas, really, haven't you? I mean, at the moment, if Bracey were to go, say, over extra cover, there's a huge area out there.
Well, this time he waits. This time there could be 2, actually. There should be 2. Run for it. That's good running. Oh! Well, Saul came in and I presume he probably stopped 2, but that was Gloucestershire's fault against Glamorgan, as you were saying. They didn't run the first one very hard. 50 for 2, though. That's all right. In the 7th over. So I think 170, 175 will probably be the ultimate score, and that's pulled away by Cobain. He got himself in a right muddle, actually. He tried to split it to mid-wicket, and it ended up going to long on. End of the over, decent one, 51 for 2. How many of that, Julian Clark? 5. Not bad.
That's the other thing, that last ball about Rashid Khan, he can get away with bowling it short, where a lot of spinners can't, because again, it's because of the speed and the quickness through the air that he bowls with. It just skids onto the batsman. They're preparing to play a big pull shot over mid-wicket, and they just can't get hold of it because it's onto them much quicker than they're used to. They're used to the kind of eyes lighting up because the spinner who's bowling slower
Spinner's on
bowls
now.
it halfway down, and you have a lot of time to pick where you're going to hit it. So yeah, spin from both ends. Danny Briggs, who opened the bowling in the last match against Kent Spitfires, but he's going to come in here to bowl over number 8. Round the wicket to the right-handed Cobain, and he tosses the first one up. Cobain just pushes that one straight to right at short cover, and again, still keeping that fielder in at short cover, even though we're well out of the power play and this partnership's just beginning to build a little. Briggs bowls to Cobain, holds that one back nicely. Cobain tries to force it down the ground, but hits it straight back to Briggs. So 2 dot balls, and we'll see whether Cobain feels the pressure after that. Next one, again, just straight back to Danny Briggs. He's trying to play that down to long on, I think, but he just can't get enough wrist work to get it away from Briggs at the moment. So at the moment, it's Briggs and Cobain playing catch with each other. As Briggs bowls, this time Cobain will get a single. That's all out to Delray Rawlins on the deep mid-wicket boundary. So excellent start this from Briggs, and Bracey now. Bracey facing his first ball. And Gloucestershire, well, they probably would love a boundary off the last couple of balls here. So here's Briggs bowls to Bracey. It's on the pads, and Bracey's just missed it. Just looked like a fairly straightforward help into the leg side, but must have been something that happened to that, and Bracey can't get any bat on it. Here comes Briggs and bowls, and Bracey shapes up to sweep. There's a big shout for MBW, and it's turned down in the end. He left them hanging for quite a while there, did the umpire. I think it's Mike Burns at this Bristol Pavilion end, but maybe just sliding across Bracey.
The most important thing about that over, only 1 run off it. So they've tied him down a lot. 12 overs remaining now. And if Rashid can tie him down from the Ashley Down Road end, when he's going to bowl, do you think Rashid is going to bowl 4 overs on the spin?
I would imagine they'll save. They won't save him for the death, but they'll probably, I would imagine, take him off and bring him back on at sort of over 12, 13 kind of area. When the batsmen are starting to hit out, or have to start to hit out, I would say, although they do now.
Rashid bowls. Cobain goes back into his crease, and it goes for the fielder out there, who's number 8 on his back. Can you tell me that is?
I think it's Rawlins out there.
He just
all the way over to the other side of the field.
He pulled up, didn't he? He pulled up as the ball was going past him. That's 4 runs to Cobain, 56 for 2.
I mean, it could just be our angle, but it looked like he thought he was going to dive for it, and he just never did.
Cobain again, but that's a good ball played back to the bowler. Now, Cobain is using his feet well, but it's difficult to get any angle off Rashid Khan, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you really have to play him down the ground. You've almost got no other option the way he bowls.
Well, there's going to be a possible 2 there, but again, they just saunter the first, which is disappointing.
It is. Like you say, they just sauntered through. It might not have been 2 there, but you're never going to know if you don't run the first one hard.
Exactly. And of course, you can put pressure on the fielder, make a mistake picking it up, etc., etc. And it's Bracey facing on 13, 57 for 2, and hit on the pad, and another appeal, but it's turned down by the ump.
It's Gunnar Gould. Well, Gunnar Gould out there today with Mike Burns, according to the scorecard at any rate. Nice to see Ian Gould doing some county cricket. Yeah,
former Middlesex keeper, of course. And that's played nicely by Bracey, and it's going to be 4 runs. Yeah, well played. He used his feet tremendously then, did Bracey, and he made a ball down the offside. He used his feet and just flicked it through a wide mid-wicket position. There were 2 fielders out there, but it dissected them. Or should it be bisected?
Dissected, we'd have a frightful mess out there.
Yeah. I always get that wrong. Rashid Khan again, and that's up in the air. That's going to fall short of the fielder out there, and it's just a single. So this over has become quite expensive in the context of things. 62 for 2. 10 off it. Well, see, that makes up for the other one from Danny Briggs, doesn't it? Bracey on 18, Cobain on 29. Men out Klinger for 7, and Miles Hammond for 5.
That's the prime example, that over, of what Gloucestershire did of how to play Rashid Khan. You can't try and overhit against him. You've got to try and find the gaps, rather, because if you try and swing too hard and try and clear the ropes against him, you'll just get rushed, whereas Gloucestershire, shorter swings of the bat and getting the placement right, Danny Briggs to start a new over here on BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Sussex as he bowls to Bracey, and that's on the pads. Bracey turns his one to the leg side. Now, they think about two again, but they're not going to get it. Now, that was a good throw. That was a good throw of balance. It's Salt out there. Salt seems to have been absolutely everywhere out there, and he managed to stop them from coming back for the second there.
Well, you put your best fielders where the ball's more likely to go, don't you?
Exactly. Briggs bowls to Cobain, and there's a half shout for everybody. Oh, there's a mix-up here, and going to get back. They're going to get back fairly comfortably in the end because Rashid Khan was on the circle at point and swinging out from behind the stumps Carey, but neither of them could get there in time. That was a disaster averted there for Gloucestershire. Again, on the pads, work to the leg side. Now, Rawlins is going to... Oh, Rawlins dives past it, but fortunately, Chris Jordan was there to do the backing up, as it were. So they end up getting two. They might have come back anyway there.
It was a mistake by Rawlins. Hello, Julian. 50 partnership, 41 balls. Thanks, Julian.
65 for 2, Gloucestershire as Briggs bowls to Cobain. Again, Cobain turns it softly into the leg side. This time, they don't even really think about the second, but of course, Chris Jordan is one of the best outfielders in, maybe not just in England, but around the world as well. He is tremendous out there, not just taking the catches, but he covers the ground so quickly and has a great arm as well. 66 for 2 as Bracey faces up to Briggs. And Bracey goes for a scoop shot, and he's got that one away fine. I think that's going to run away. It's a really nice shot there from Bracey. Just a classy scoop sweep shot, and it runs away quickly to the fine leg boundary for 4.
Can't field that, can you? I mean, always in 2010 there are going to be gaps, and the batsman looks around and thinks, well, what can I exploit? And Bracey exploited that extremely well.
Yeah, lovely touch there. Now he comes down the pitch, smacks it to cow corner. Well, he hasn't actually timed it as well as I thought, and it's actually only going to be a single. Salt out there again with the fielding. That ends over number 10, and at the halfway stage, it's 71 for 2, Gloucestershire.
Yeah, halfway. Well, I always think a halfway... I always think after 12 overs you double your score. So it's going to be about 165, 170. You would hope if Gloucestershire can carry on like this.
Well, Gloucestershire have got to be targeting 10 and over now, haven't they? They've got to be targeting a minimum of 10 and over with 8 wickets in hand, and the power of Ryan Higgins, Jack Taylor, Benny Howell still to come.
And Andrew Tye.
They've got plenty of batting in the hutch, so what they don't want to be doing is still sitting there going at 7 and a halves with 5 overs left to go and still 7.
No, they should be aiming for 9 or 10 and over. However, Chris Jordan's going to bowl. Now, the beauty of Chris Jordan is he's a great bowler. The disadvantage is if he gets a snick, it goes for 4, doesn't it? And there's no third man and no long leg as well as Jordan comes into bowl to Bracey, who's on 24, 71 for 2. And Bracey waits and plays a beautiful shot out towards mid-off and mid-on, I should say, long on. And it's just a single, though. That's the trouble. You've either got to play it straight to the fielder for a 1 or just take it off a bit and try and go for 2.
There would have been probably a lovely shot in the championship.
Yeah? Oh, yeah. Probably. So no slip they got. No slip. They got a third man is going back. There's no long leg, but third man is quite wide. Who is 96 down there?
David Visa.
He's got long hair.
He has got long hair.
Very long hair, yes.
He seems to sort of come and go, David Visa's hair.
Here is Jordan, who's comes into bowl to Cobain, is on 32. And that's a terrible hoik of a shot. That was very agricultural, you say. He tried to play it up towards... I'm sure he tried to play it up towards mid-on or mid-off, but then it came out the bottom of his bat and just squirted about, 15, 20 feet away to square leg, who picked it up.
From that Ashdown road end, I would say that cow corner boundary might be quite difficult. I mean, you're going to have to nail it to clear it if you're Cobain, that is, rather than Bracey. It looks like... I mean, it's a short hit straight, and I'm not sure it's too long towards mid-wicket for the right-hander, towards the car park, but just in that corner there, the cow corner, it's quite a long heave that's going to be needed to clear that, I would say.
Oh, it can be done. Seen it done many
Certainly
times.
can with the way they can hit the ball.
Bracey on 25, 73 for 2. And that was a good ball from Jordan. He dug it in short, and Bracey sort of played it a bit too early, and the ball just rocketed past him. However, that is one for the over.
They haven't bowled too many short balls, Sussex, but when they have, it's
Bowled
been
Klinger,
very
didn't they?
effective.
Got Klinger
Exactly,
caught behind.
Klinger out off what seemed to be a top edge, and it's just been a shock tactic that they've used. Most of the time, it's just been pretty full and very straight.
Here's Jordan again. Bracey on 25. And, oh dear, that was a great bit of fit. I think yourself right, Chris Jordan being a great fielder. He bent down very quickly off his own bowling and turned to throw it at the striker's end, but he didn't let go because they got back in time, but that certainly kept a single off the scoreboard.
Yep, St Cobain scurrying back at any rate, and also with his left hand as well. Yeah, very sharp from Jordan, but
well, they got
come to expect it.
The long off is in, comes in now, so that he's not deep, and that's a good shot from Bracey, and it's going to be 4 runs. Well, it sat up from Jordan, and it was meat and drink for a batsman of Bracey's calibre, and that is the Bristol pitch, isn't it? If it sits up, it stays sat up.
Yeah, well, it's the first short ball that Sussex have bowled that has, as you say, just stopped. And I think maybe because he'd already used up one for the over, he was conscious possibly of not conceding the no ball, and so maybe just didn't quite put sort of, absolute 100% into it. And the problem is, as you say, on this Bristol pitch, if you don't do that, it will just sit up. And Bracey, big gap at mid-wicket, picked it nicely.
29 to Bracey. Jordan bowls to him again, and that skids through very low. Good ball to end the over. 77 for 2, 9 overs to go.
Yeah, well, despite that boundary, only 6, I think, off the over. Yep, 6 off the over. Thanks, Julian. So Jordan threw 2 overs for 15. And again, Gloucestershire still hanging around that 7 and over mark. And
now, what's happening down here? The keeper's got, I think he's got a stitch on the top of his eye, because I noticed he was rubbing his eye, and now the physio's come out. I think he's probably done something to it, like a little quick steri stitch or something. Perhaps a bit of blood is shown.
I don't know. More medical knowledge than I have, Bob, probably.
No, I haven't. None at all. I'm sure he had a stitch put on, a steri stitch, something, isn't it? Well, it must stop the bleeding, isn't it? You can't have any blood out there.
It's Briggs then. Briggs will bowl his 3rd over. He's bowled 2 overs for 10 so far, but I would suggest that Gloucestershire have to be going after this over now with the bowling attack that Sussex have towards the death. Still 2 overs of Rashid Khan to go, and Danny Briggs is not bad to have as a weak link in your bowling attack, and he certainly isn't that. That's on the pads. Cobain tries to work it leg side, but again doesn't get any bat on it.
He was hurried, wasn't he?
Yeah, and this is the thing with Briggs. I mean, you think you can target him because he doesn't have the sort of mystery spin that Rashid Khan's got, but at the same time very difficult to get away. This is shorter, and Cobain runs this one to Rashid Khan. There's going to be a shot at the non-striker's end, and home safely was Cobain. The direct hit might have been interesting, probably just home.
Yes, home,
but
I think.
Again, just trying to use the pace, but there wasn't any from Briggs really, so hence why straight to the fielder for only 1 run. 78 for 2, Cobain to 34. Bracey facing, moves across his stumps, and that's going to be a wide, and they don't manage to get through for an extra one as Visa does the fielding at short, fine leg. So that's the one where you just need a little tickle on it if you're Bracey. Misdirected from Briggs, and maybe just saw Bracey moving across, but just fired it a bit too far down the leg side. Next one is a low full toss, but no elevation. Bracey just can't get underneath it, and sort of bottom of the bat down to Jordan at long off, and a single taken. 80 for 2 here on BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Sussex. So still tight over from Briggs, no boundaries as he bowls now to Cobain. Short cut, but again straight to the man at deep cover, and they're getting the timing, but it's all along the ground.
It's ones or fours, isn't it, at the moment?
Yeah, it's all along the ground, and straight to fielders all too often, really, from these two. Briggs bowls to Bracey. That's gone high up in the air. This should be a simple catch for Visa at short fine leg, and he takes it. So there's the third wicket for Sussex. Bracey, well, he had to go for it. It was the time, really, where Gloucestershire needed a boundary. It wasn't quite hit out or get out, but it almost reached that stage with Gloucestershire still going on around about 7 and over. Just tried to clear the mid-wicket boundary with a slog sweep straight up in the air, and David Visa takes a pretty comfortable catch at short fine.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good catch. I thought Bracey, he thought he was getting a little bit becalmed, and he thought, right, I've got to have a go here. And it does bring out Ryan Higgins, which is gets a nice little round of applause. As James Bracey, well done him. 81 for 3. Now, Ryan Higgins has been in a rich vein of form with bat and ball.
Yep, he is. He's a very dangerous player, and he can get going very quickly as well, which is what Gloucestershire will need him to do. It doesn't take too many balls before he's already at least finding gaps, and then, you know, for somebody who's not, I mean, obviously he's bigger than I am, but most people are, but he's not built sort of,
no, he's not stocky.
You'd think a traditional big hitter, but he has so much power in him. Briggs then to bowl. It's Cobain on strike, and Cobain turns this one into the leg side. It's not even going to make it anywhere near the 30-yard circle, and Briggs does the fielding. So a single to end the over, and is that 4 or 5 off that over from Briggs there? 5 off the over and the wicket, so far from being the over that Gloucestershire looked to target. Briggs has brought things back even further for Sussex. 82 for 3.
8 to go.
And 8 overs left.
We're looking at 150 now, probably 160 if you're lucky.
Yeah, 160, 10 and over.
Rashid Khan is continuing. His third over, isn't it, Julian? Yes. Of course he did. Chris Jordan bowled the last over, exactly right. Cobain has taken the strike, 82 for 3. It's getting pretty dark here now. I don't think they'll be playing a county championship match. The lights aren't on. Cobain. Now this is where they should get to. Now Higgins can turn. No, this is no. I can understand why the fielder had the ball in his hands, but they've got to start taking those risks, I would have thought.
And this is the other thing about Sussex as well. The runs that they save combined out there on the leg side, Jordan and Rawlins, they're both rapid out there.
Higgins faces and gets a good ball on the stumps. They only play it back to the bowler.
Yeah, I still think minimum 150, even from here, because, I mean, Sussex chased down 150 odd against Kent.
Yeah.
Quite comfortably the other night.
Well, Higgins gets off the mark by just playing a little dab shot out to mid-wicket. Delroy comes into field.
But again, it's the power play, isn't it? You go back to the power play, losing 2 wickets, and although they pulled it back a bit towards the end, it just didn't set them up well.
Cobain faces a little shot played to backward point. They feel there's no run. You see, this is going to be another over where there's 5 or 6. It's just not enough. You would think, unless Cobain can go wild. Well, he gets himself a single. That's fine, but not good enough, really. 85 for 3.
And the other thing is, you look down at the bowling attack, even without Mills and Archer, who do you target now? Because Robinson has only 1 over left anyway.
Khan bowls again, and Higgins swipes it before. Now that was a great shot from Higgins. I'm sure he looked at the gap on the leg side and decided to exploit it. Well, that has released some of the pressure. 89 for 3, 7 overs to go.
Yeah, important last ball of the over there. The last ball of the over so often big, but it's still actually not a bad over at all from Sussex's perspective. 7. So even with the boundary, still pretty good from a Sussex perspective. They take 7 and over from here, I think, all day. And
so they would.
But Higgins, again, that's what it was, his 3rd ball, I think, and already finding a gap and with some power as well. So Cobain on strike, Briggs bowling. Briggs again holds this one back, and still they've got that man up saving the single at short cover, and he saves another run there, does Luke Wright. As Briggs bowls to Cobain, sweep shot in the air, and it's going to go for 6, I think, just.
It is 6.
Yep, 6. So Cobain slog sweep, didn't clear the rope by very much, but enough. So Cobain moves to 44. It's the first 6 of the innings.
Yeah, it is.
And Gloucestershire's a 95 for 3.
Yeah, those red 6s shown by the crowd on the far side.
Here comes Briggs then. Bowls to Cobain, and again it's that one that he just bowls a little bit shorter but doesn't give him any pace to work with, and it's just guided down to long off where Robinson does the fielding. 96 for 3. Cobain 45. We'll see whether Higgins fancies a go as well. Bowls, and well, he tries to play a sort of extremely wristy shot, but in the end it's just gone straight back to Briggs, who's already turning again and bowling. And Higgins slugs around. That's a huge shot. That is miles back. That's gone halfway up the mound stand out there, and the boundary is way off the rope. I mean, not off the rope, off where the mound stand starts. That is a giant 6 from Ryan Higgins, and the 100 is up for Gloucestershire.
That's what you need. A couple of shots like that. Cleared the rope by 30 yards.
Briggs then bowling to Higgins, and Higgins drives, but he picks out the man at short cover again. So dot ball to the over. Nice comeback after getting hit for the 6 by Danny Briggs. And at the end of 14 overs here on BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Sussex, 102 for 3 Gloucestershire, and just beginning, well, more than beginning, with a couple of 6s in that over to get things going. But the thing is now, that is Briggs bowled out. So 1 for 28.
Yeah,
so
well
still,
him.
Despite going for, 13 off his last over, 13, still pretty decent figures, 7 and over in this format.
Rashid Khan's last over being bowled from the Ashley Down Road in bowling to Cobain is on 45, 102 for 3, 6 overs remaining in the Gloucestershire innings, and gets himself probably 2. They should come back for 2. No, they should again.
That is a definite 2. I mean,
yeah, they should have come for 2 then. They just that's a bit of a weak link about Gloucestershire's batting. They do run the first one half. They turn. There's a sort of hesitancy about showing go for the second one.
Aggressive. You can turn aggressively because the throw's not imminent.
No. And again, they go. That's a good ball. Dot ball as well. Played to backward point. Fielded.
I mean, of course, you do have to say it's easier from up here than it is down there. Of course it is. But at the same time, it is a sort of a running theme that we've noticed.
Oh, that's up in the air. It's going to fall short. It's going to get caught. He's gone. Now, that was Higgins frustratingly, you see. He got frustrated by the ball before, and Higgins has gone for an 11. It's a cameo, but it's not enough runs on the board. And Higgins, for once, has failed. It looked like he was going to clear the boundary, but then it went straight up in the air as a routine catch. And he's furious with himself. He kicks his bat as he stalks off.
Well, he was looking to smash a windscreen out there in the car park, I think. He was winding up for it. But it's another wicket that Sussex have taken off a top edge, and a comfortable catch for Laurie Evans. And, well, they did drop one catch earlier, but the Skyers, they've taken quite a couple.
They practice them, don't they? Day in and day out. Jack Taylor comes to the wicket now, coming number 6. Batted pretty well on Friday night. They do need runs from Jack Taylor. They do. Cobain's out there, 46. He's doing well.
Yeah, well, Taylor, again, another one who can get going extremely quickly. But the thing is, we've almost got to play this over from Rashid Khan out now. It is his last.
How many balls? 3 balls to go this over from Rashid Khan. Cobain is facing, they crossed, and goes for a single. Now there's no chance of going for 2 on that occasion.
No, absolutely straight to Rawlins, and that's you're signing a death warrant if you come back there. That's for sure.
Well, they try and take the pace off the ball. That's what they're trying to do, but it's just overhitting it a little bit, and the fielders are racing in from the boundary at top speed. Jack Taylor faces his first ball now, and gets himself a single. Now there should be 2 here because there's no one on the unguarded stumps at the non-striker's end, but Rashid has the ball in his hand and he walks back to bowl his last ball of his spell. Julian Clark, isn't it? He's bowled well. 1 for 25. That's good stuff. Rashid Khan bowls his last ball to Cobain is on 47. And Cobain, again, an easy single, and Cobain keeps the strike. 48 for him, 106 for 4, 5 overs to go. Well, the spinners have both finished now. That's probably good news for Gloucestershire. It is easier to get purchase off the crickers, isn't it? But 5 overs to go, they're going to fall short of 150 unless they get that going. Let's